Alright guys, how's it going? It's me, Wendy Wilson. It is Thursday, November the 6th, 2025. It's about 12 noon. This is part 2 of the trilogy, Wendy the Runner. If you missed part 1, you'll get it on my YouTube channel. When I post this one up later on, you'll see the link to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to go and watch part 1 if you missed it. So this is Wendy the Runner. I could probably talk for hours, days, weeks, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Why, when, where, I suppose. I was always active when I was younger. Growing up in the 70s and 80s, we were always out playing, running about, out on our bikes, climbing trees and stuff like that. Even at school, I enjoyed sports, PE, sports day, cross-country running. And then after school, I joined the army. So, as you can imagine, I was kept in with the fitness. You needed to be fit in that to be in the army and that as well. Left the army, I think probably around about 24, 25. So from the age of 25 to 40. So 15 years of debauchery, I suppose. Didn't do much exercise. In fact, I didn't do any exercise. Party animal, partied hard. So most of that period is just a blur, to be honest with you. I met Gusty in the Ice Factory one weekend I was out, and next year I have been with her for 20 years. So she is almost certainly, well, she is my saviour, because after I met her, started to calm down a wee bit, settle down, and here we are, almost 20 years later. So, running wise, running proper. I remember doing something back end of 2017. There was a guy who'd collapsed and died during the London Marathon, and I'm sure it was a social media thing. People were running his last 4 miles. So I went out and ran that 4 miles. Took me 44 minutes. I've got a screenshot from Strava on my phone as a constant reminder. Obviously about the tragedy as well, but from a personal point of view, how far I've came, where I was 7 years ago to where I am now, what I've done, what I can do, and unfortunately due to my heart condition, what I need to do just now until we get the results of the MRI scan November the 18th. But yeah, this is Wendy the Runner. So I suppose it started properly beginning of 2018. Gusty was training for the London Marathon. She got a place, and it must have been towards the start of the block. She went out for a run one day, early on, maybe 15, 20 minutes. You know, she came back in, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You've only been gone 20 minutes. You're training for a marathon, you know, you're meant to be running 10, 15, 20 miles. She's like, no, you're not, I'm on a plan. And me not being a runner at the time, didn't know that you usually took, depending, 14, 15, 16 weeks to train for a marathon. I'm like, don't talk shite. I said, I'll go out tomorrow and run 10 miles, show you how it's done. Anyway, I went out the next day, managed about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, sweating, shattered, got back to the house, blown out my arse. Gusty's standing in the kitchen laughing, and I said, you know what, you're maybe right. It maybe is. It is a lot harder than what it looks. Just you stick to your plan, and me and young Wendy will support you. Anyway, we went down to London, April 2018, for Gusty to run the marathon, and that was my first experience as a spectator of a major event. It was absolutely incredible. We always watch the London Marathon on the telly, and you can really only see a wee bit. You know, they kind of focus on the elites. Then once the elites are through, they kind of focus on the charity runners, and you really only see a wee bit of the crowd. They're at Tower Bridge, they're at Cutty Sark, and then they get them round at the mall and the finish line. So you don't really get the big picture, if you know what I mean. But anyway, being there, spectating, supporting Gusty, oh my God, absolutely phenomenal. It was mind blowing. Flying down on the Friday, getting into London City, going to the expo, getting your number, just having a look at all the stuff there, just the buzz, just everything. Gusty chilling on the Saturday, and me and young Windy going out sightseeing, then Gusty away to the race on the Sunday, and me and young Windy going to support her, and then just everything after it. So that was April 2018, and then we got married in June, so there was a lot going on that year. Went away on honeymoon, and I had a few runs, nothing crazy, a couple of 5Ks or something. I remember running in Bangkok, Lumpini Park. Oh man, the humidity, and spent a few weeks Koh Samui as well. So I started. It wasn't the bug per se, but I was beginning to enjoy doing a wee bit of running again. Anyway, we got home. I can't remember exactly how it went, but Fiona Watt from 5 Star Active, I think she'd sent me a few messages, just to say, look, there's a running club in the town, noticed you're out running, do you want to come and join us? And I was kind of like, you know what, I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I like to do my own thing. I'm not really that keen on the structured stuff, I need to do this, I need to do that. I just wake up in the morning, and if I feel like going for a run, I'll go for a run. If I feel like lying on the couch watching the telly, I'll lie on the couch and watch the telly. She'd sent me a few messages, and I was like, you know what? I'll come down to a few classes, and we'll see what's what. And the rest, I suppose, as they say, is history. Joined 5 Star. That's been 7 years. Absolutely amazing. Love it. I do enjoy the class runs, the work, the structured sessions, the Tuesday, the Thursday and the Saturday. I think though as well, deep down I am still a wee bit of a lone wolf. I like my own space. I like the trails. I like being out there in the hills. And I suppose to be an ultra trail runner, you kind of need that mentality as well. Spending hours and hours out in the trails or up in the hills on your own, just you, your head and your own thoughts. I do like the club as well, don't get me wrong. Bit of both, but I prefer the trails. So that was me kind of joining 5 Star back end of July, and it was only a couple of weeks afterwards that I ran my first official event, the Perth 10K, with a few workmates. Got a sub 60 as well. So again, after a few runs, my first official event, kind of beginning to get the bug a wee bit there. And it was only 3 or 4 weeks, I think, after that, Auchterarder Running Festival half marathon. I ran that 2 hours 20, almost killed me. But again, absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Just you need to be a runner to know what I'm talking about. Just the whole running experience, the environment, and just the highs and even the lows, I suppose. So that was the Perth 10K, August, Auchterarder Running Festival, the half marathon in September. And it was round about that time, I don't know when exactly, but I said to Gusty, you know what, I'm going to run London. She's like, you should. Well, you should apply. So I did a wee bit of fundraising for Diabetes Scotland through my golf day. Managed to raise a few quid for them. So I'm like, I found the contact details for Diabetes UK. So sent them an email. All right, how's it going? It's me, Windy Wilson, blah, blah, blah. Did some fundraising for you guys in Scotland over the last few years. Just started running. Only been running for a few months. Pretty confident I can get the charity money for you. Maybe a couple of quid more. Any chance of a London marathon place? Sent it away. Yours in running, Windy Wilson. Forgot all about it, to be honest with you. And then when I got the email notification, congratulations, you're running 2019 London Marathon. I'm like, wow, fuck's sake. Gusty, you'll never believe this. I've got a place to run London. And that was it. That was my first major event, London Marathon. And obviously I'd been down spectating Gusty, so I kind of knew, or I thought I knew what to expect. But from a personal point of view, from a runner's point of view, completely different. Absolutely bonkers. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. And that was me completely hooked in on the running. So I went through training block with Fiona, 5-star active. There was about 6 or 7 of us went down and ran it in 2019. Took about 5 hours. Loved it, as I said. I had great intentions of going out on the Sunday night. I was going to be ripping London up. We were going here, there and everywhere. I was going to go to Trafalgar Square and dance naked in the fountain with my medal. But the realisation of the Sunday night didn't quite work out like that. Finished the marathon, could hardly walk. I went back to the charity after race meet up, met a few people, still friends with them, but I was in so much pain, a few tears. Just said to Gusty, young Windy, come on, let's get back to the hotel. Felt a wee bit better after a bath, so we went out for something to eat. Indian restaurant just round the corner from where we stayed at Tower Hill. Ordered all the food, ordered 3 cobras or something, had a couple of mouthfuls, couple onion badges, and I was sore, I was aching all over. I said to Gusty, I said, fuck this, I've had enough, I'm going back to the hotel. So I went back to the hotel, and that Sunday night, I actually fell asleep crying in so much pain. It was unbelievable. Never felt pain like it. My feet, my ankles, my knees, I was just aching all over. Woke up in the Monday morning, could hardly walk. Went home though, and it took me about 10 days, couple of weeks to recover properly. And I said to myself, every day I woke up the first 3 or 4 days after running London, that I would never run again. That was me. Fuck it. Finished. But if you're a runner and you've run a marathon or any major event, as the pain eases and the memories fade, you kind of get the post-run blues. So you're looking to cheer yourself up, and you start to remember the good things, the training block, the event itself, and all the highs. So you're on that computer, and probably a natural progression, I think. Couch to 5k, the 10k, the half marathon, the marathon. So I'm like, what do we do next? So I'd heard a few people speaking about ultras, and I'm like, an ultra, I'll have a wee look at that, I wonder what all this is about. So ultra marathon, I'm like, oh aye, we'll give this a bash. So I signed up for my first ultra in July 2019. In hindsight, absolutely too soon. After London, only like 3 months or something, and only after 10, 11 months being like running properly, I'd signed up for Run the Blades 50k ultra. But yeah, it was just, that was my new drug. Addicted to running, addicted to the feeling, addicted to the events, just everything, meeting new friends. Just the whole kind of under that umbrella, that whole bubble. So anyway, I got my first 50k done, July, Run the Blades. That was 2019. London was my first major, and I was quite fortunate to get a place in Berlin in September 2019. So my running journey kind of rose up through the distances fairly quickly. 10k half marathon, ultra in July, and then only a few months later, August, September, away to Berlin to run the Berlin Marathon for prostate cancer. I'd ran London for Diabetes UK. So that was my second star. So by this time, well and truly got the bug. And unfortunately, we got into 2020. That was a COVID year. So a lot of the events were cancelled. I was due to run London again in 2020. I had a place in the Devil. I deferred that to 2021, and then I never ended up running it, to be honest with you. I had a few other events in 2020 that were cancelled, but at the same time, ironically, I suppose, because I've got a heart condition now. Young Windy, we discovered he had a heart condition, so he had open heart surgery. So that kind of changed my running dynamic a little bit. Once we got Young Windy sorted though, and everything was okay, I started running again. fundraising. I think my next run after that was for the British Heart Foundation Scotland. And then me and Gusty found CRY, Cardiac Risk in the Young, and ever since we've been fundraising for them. So I don't think I did much in 2020, to be honest with you. As I said, that was the COVID year. There might have been a few events towards the end, but I honestly can't remember. And I think it was probably then 2021 I started running again. I remember Fiona in the club, 5-star active, through the COVID year. We had a few challenges to get us out of the house and get us exercising. I think if you could social distance, you were fine. There was that exercise period. And then I think eventually you were allowed to run with a friend. And then obviously the groups came out. But yeah, that took us to 2021. And I can't remember what I did in 2021, to be honest with you. If I did any majors, I don't think I did. So it would have just been the half marathons, the 10Ks, and then it would have been 2022, I think. I got a place in Chicago, 2022. Me and a couple of my mates went over there, Angela and Lorna. So once we'd done Chicago, that was my third star. And then I started to hear more or learn more about the World Marathon Majors. So having the 3 stars and me being me, a highly strung Virgo with my old OCD, I'm like, right, okay, we've done this, we've done that, we've done London, we've done Berlin, this is Chicago. That's us on our 6-star journey as well. So I got Chicago done 2022, continued to run and train with the club, 10Ks here, the odd half marathon there, few local races as well. And then 2023, my place in London in 2020, the COVID year, I deferred to 2021 or 2022, I think. Diabetes UK came to me in 2022 and said, look, you've already ran London for us. Would you mind giving up your bib so somebody else can get it this year, but we'll give you a bib in 2023. I'm like, aye, no worries. So I ran London again in 2023. That was my second time. And also back end of 2023, I managed to get into New York. So I ran New York. So that was my 4th star. And again, just training, bit of trail, bit of road running, events, 10Ks, half marathons, continuing to run the ultras as well. I think by then I'd probably done 7, 8 or 9 ultras point to point. And then I started having a look at the backyard ultras. I've done 3 of these, the Highlanders, backyard ultras, the rocket events, and also started looking at the 24-hour endurance events as well. I've done 3 of these, absolutely love them. Again, they're rocket events, Bill and Ada and Glenn Moore. But yeah, that was 2023 was Berlin, and 2024, again, been so fortunate with my social media platform, my weather page. I got a place for Tokyo 2024, early 2024, March. So I started training for Tokyo. 2024 was my toughest year, I think. Looking back, I had Tokyo beginning of March, then end of March I had the Anglo-Celtic Plate. 2 weeks later, I was down at Manchester, ran Manchester Marathon. I've got my marathon PB, 4:25. A couple of weeks after that, I ran the Highland Fling. Had a month off. Beginning of June, I ran Glen Line. Had another month off. And July, I did the Highlander. And then another month off. And then Glenmore. So 2024 was my craziest year ever. And I think in hindsight, I'd probably done too much. Cumulative fatigue, I think, I struggled as each event went on, and towards the end of the year, I was tired. But as I said, guys, my running journey to date has been absolutely amazing. I've met so many people. As I said, 80 events. I've lost count of the number of events that I've ran, but it's been absolutely fantastic. So that's probably where we are just now, where, why, when, the reasons, I suppose, why do I enjoy it so much. Physical, obviously, exercise, good mental health, getting outside, outdoors, just running, getting away from your day-to-day life, whether it's with the club on a Tuesday, Thursday or Saturday, or just getting up into the hills yourself, spending a few hours up there, clearing your head, recharging in that shoes. So that's the main reason I enjoy the running so much. Mental health, I think, is the main thing, but obviously the physical exercise, keeping yourself fit. And here was me thinking, I was a fit, healthy runner, 80 events, been running for 7 years, although 5.5 years active. I've done 15 ultras, 8 marathons, 5 majors and 13 halves. I've actually got a place in Boston next year, April, 6 months time. So we'll wait and see. That's for my 6th star. The results of my MRI scan, we get them in another couple of weeks, November 18th, and we'll wait and see. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm hoping that we can continue with this vascular adapted running plan, and I'm able to run Boston zone 2, keep my heart rate under 130 and walk the hills. But back to my journey, my running journey, why I like it so much, as I said, the mental health, the exercise, the physical, and obviously, although I am a bit of a lone wolf, just meeting everybody, going to the events, rocking up, getting set up, getting registered, pinning your bib on, and then just the different people you meet when you're out running. So yeah, favourite events, rituals, feelings, they're all, I don't really have a favourite event. I suppose London will always have a special place in my heart. I've ran it 3 times. It was my first major, my first marathon. Gusty ran it in 2018, I ran it in 2019. We've got Mr. and Mrs. his and hers medals hanging up on the wall together. So yeah, London will always have a special place in my heart. As for any other favourites, they all kind of tell their own story, but if I was forced to pick one, it would probably be Glenmore. That's a rocket event. Bill and Ada, all the Rocketeers. It's up at Aviemore, the hayfield, most Septembers. It's a 24-hour event. There's a 12-hour event as well, and it's basically starts at 12 noon on a Saturday and you run till 12 noon on a Sunday. You can tap in and out when you want, and basically whoever runs the furthest wins it. So I've ran it 3 years. First 2 years I've actually been stuck on 78 miles. I now know why, because I had at the time an undiagnosed heart condition, so I was running with a handbrake on. I ran it this year. Funnily enough, ironically, the event was cancelled due to the weather, strong winds. You couldn't make that shit up for sure, eh? But aye, so I managed 60 miles in 15 hours, and then the event was cancelled. Bill made the call because strong winds, the event area, and just danger to the runners out on the course with the trees. So that might have been, looking back, that might have been my last ultra, hilly ultra anyway. But as I said, we'll wait and see what the MRI results say on November the 18th. But, that is my favourite event, without doubt. Just the event itself, as I said, Bill Ada, the Rocketeers, rocking up on the Friday, getting set up, getting registered, all the runners, the atmosphere, the crack out in the course, All the crews and the tents and that are set up around the hayfield. The spectators, just the encouragement, just the whole weekend. It really is. It's one of my favourite running events ever. And like I said, I've been fortunate enough to run it 3 times. And if last year was my last time, then that will probably go down as a very, very, very special event. So yeah, and trails or roads, I suppose, in equal measures. I do enjoy the road running. There's a few 10k events I really enjoy doing. I normally run them every year. The Perth 10k, because that was my first one. I like to go across to Cullen, run the 10k there. The Tilly 10k, that's one of my favourites. I think I've run it 4 or 5 times. Towards the end of December, there's always a good turnout. Fantastic event. Dunblane, the 12k. I like running that one. There's a few more. As I said, guys, I've ran 80 events over the last 5.5 years. That many I've forgotten them. Half marathons. A few. One of my favourites is Inverness. I love the Inverness half marathon. I'll be back up next year as well, again, if I get cleared, but that'll be a different kind of race next year. Zone 2, heart rate under 130, walk the hills, but we'll give it a bash. But yeah, but for me, I think roads or trails, it has to be the trails. I love the trails. Trail ultras, trail running, just being out in the middle of nowhere for a few hours, depending on what you're training for. If you're just going for a run, 2-3 hours, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 hours time on feet. You know, it's just you know, your own thoughts, your own head, not a care in the world. You know, you disappear for that period of time and you're kind of connected to nature, just listening to what's going on. So absolutely love the trails. And I think, to be honest with you, we'll wait and see. But if I manage to run Boston and get my 6 stars, I think that would probably be a good time, maybe to call it a day with the road marathons. Maybe we'll wait and see. Never say never. But I think if I get Boston, get my 6 stars, we'll see what's happening. But I'll still run with the club. We'll still go out on the roads. We'll do the 10Ks. We'll do the half marathons. But I'd like to spend whatever time I get given running the trails, being up in the hills, and really just that kind of freedom, I suppose. I just going away, running, doing your own thing. So yeah, that's where we are, and that's Windy's journey, I suppose, to date, up till when he was diagnosed with his heart condition. As I said, this is part 2 of the trilogy. It'll be going on to my YouTube channel. You'll find part 1 there. Part 3 will be the MRI results, and then we will have a proper plan in place moving forward. As I said, I could have spoke for hours today. I could have spoke all day, all week, but I thought it would save your ears. There's so much that I've done, and even joining the club, 5-star, all my 5-star running buddies. As I said, people I've met running. If you go to the same kind of events, 10Ks, half marathons, ultras, especially the ultras, the trail running, it's the same kind of small ultra community that keep turning up to these events year after year. So yeah, you do make some special friends, some close friends. So the running over the last 7 years has definitely transformed my life for the better, both physically and mentally, albeit I have a heart condition just now. But yeah, and on that note, guys, just a cheeky wee medical disclaimer. I am not a medical professional, okay? So when I talk about my heart or my running or my blood pressure or my medication, it's all relative to me. So Don't be watching this video and thinking, Dr. Windy says this and Dr. Windy says that, because I never said that. If you've got any problems, guys, any health issues, any heart issues in particular, because that's where me and Gusty are coming from just now, the vascular health, go and speak to your own GP, and get it checked out. But before I go, if there was just maybe one thing you can do for me, please, and I beg you, please, go and get your blood pressure checked, for fuck's sake, please. Your blood pressure, again, until recently, until I got diagnosed with my heart condition, 5 weeks, I kind of had a rough idea, but it's not until something happens to you and you look into it. Your blood pressure is probably the biggest indicator of vascular health. If it's too high or too low, chances are you've got something wrong with you. There's an underlying health problem. If it's too high, chances are it's related to your heart. I had chronic high blood pressure. It's a wee bit better now. It's still high, but I had chronic high blood pressure that had caused exercise-induced hypertension, which meant when I was running, usually you run, your heart rate and your blood pressure stays coupled. They kind of go up together, they come down together, they go back up. But I got to a point where it was decoupled, and my blood pressure, especially my systolic blood pressure, shot up away over 200, 220, 230. So for the last, cardiologist said it didn't happen overnight. So for the last 5, 6, 7 years, guys, I have been running with a heart condition with exercise-induced hypertension, where my heart rate was relatively low. You actually feel okay, but inside, your heart and your arteries are actually screaming at you because your blood pressure has decoupled and it's shot away up. So if you do one thing, just one thing, please, if you do one thing after watching this or listening to it, just one thing, go and get your blood pressure checked, please. Go and get your blood pressure checked. So as I said, chronic high blood pressure. I've been on medication for 3 weeks now. It's coming down. There's still a lot to do, but we'll cover that in part 3. This is part 2, Windy, the runner. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and you've enjoyed following my journey to date. Okay, catch you later on. Thanks a lot.